G'day and welcome to another episode of Rise Up with Rick. A little bit different today, just a real short one, 20-25 minute little segment, talking mindset and a little bit of my philosophy. It's really important. I get all these amazing guests on, and I know that a lot of you might know me through my coaching and media space, and in maybe a couple of my platforms, whether it's 100 Day Heroes, the Runners app, or any of my corporate or other stuff, football stuff. But there's a lot of people out there that probably don't know much about me or my philosophy, and I think it's really important to put a bit of an undertone and a bit of a fundamental base on a bit of that. So I think it's really important that we throw in 20-minute segments like this just to really ascertain some of the really big whys and the purpose around what we do. Not just me, but you guys. Like, it's all about you guys, the listener. That's what's so crucial. It's pretty casual in here. I'm just in the office filming, and I think it's really important that we keep it casual at times. But you'll feel on my guests, like, there is a lot of banter and we talk a lot of rubbish sometimes, but it's really important that I like to elicit their story and get their story. But a lot of the stuff that I probably don't bring out a lot when I'm interviewing, because it's not about me in the interview, is a lot of my philosophy, and it might come through, but my major passion in life is just ensuring that everybody on this earth that is ready to lives to their ultimate, and their becomes the best version of them they can be for them and the people around them, and that if there's anything in their way, whether it's old habits not serving, lots of other things, ancestral stuff, generational stuff, just stuff that we've always done and that it's getting in their way and they're not happy, then I really try to help them change that. But again, it takes time. But there is more than one way to skin a cat, so there's lots of different ways around this kind of stuff. Now, if we're talking about how I got into this stuff, I've done coaching. I've coached for over 20 years every single day. And now I know running, sports science, physiology, strength and conditioning, and football is probably my main basis. But the last 10 to 15 years especially, I've really moved into a lot of psychology, mindset stuff, and that has been on the daily as well. I've done a lot of education in this field. I've got a lot of anecdotal evidence, and I guess lived through a lot of my own mental health battles, and have coached literally tens of thousands of different individuals through these mindset, mental health barriers and these kinds of things on the daily. Some of them are very extreme, some of them not so extreme, but always we can work on things. There's always a way to help and always a way to make yourself better. So we're going to keep it reasonably focused on what I talk a lot about with my corporates, and definitely in the 100 Day Heroes program, which is just a huge major passion of mine. So one topic, keep it simple, and we're just going to talk about you, the listener, the viewer, you, and talking about a big topic. I feel I use a wheel that we can put in the show notes, or detach from emotion wheel, or system over emotion wheel, and it's really bloody important. It's really important. And I go off this wheel, and a lot of it's my philosophy to life and to ensuring you get the best out of you. So what I ask people to do is, no matter where you stand in life, you could be at the busiest stage of your life, you could have kids running everywhere, you could be through that phase, you might not have any kids, but you got stress and everything else coming at you, or you're just not achieving what you want to be achieving. And that usually leads to happiness and these kind of things. Why aren't I as happy or as light above the shoulders as I want to be? And often there's a few things at play, but it's really, really regular that people, they're not probably going inward enough, number one. There's a lot of reasons why, and I'll get into it as I explain, but number one thing I want you to do is determine your purpose, your true why. It's deep. It cannot possibly be superficial. It cannot possibly be keeping up with the Joneses or making money so I can do this and that. It needs to be deep. It needs to be in your soul. It can have plenty to do with performance. Make no mistake. If it's a sporting goal, that's great, but it's got to be deeper than just so I can be the best or so I can show someone I'm the best. It's got to be more than finance. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than losing 20 kilos. Why? Generational type stuff. So I can really live and experience memories and leave a legacy and this kind of stuff. And just have more present moments with the people and the things and the beings I love the most. Then I want you to think about take that into account. What is the ideal you looking like in 3 to 5 years' time? It could be anything. It doesn't matter. It's not about me, it's about you. So don't feel like anyone is judging, because it's about you. What will make you happy? We're here for such a finite amount of time. It's absolutely ludicrous to be doing anything for anyone else as far as for their happiness or just to prove things to other people. You want to be the best version of yourself for you, and then that parlays out to others. And the people that matter, that's who it parlays out to. The people that don't matter, they could very well be the people you're trying to prove something to, and it's irrelevant anyway. Because they don't matter to you. Because they don't really care. So take a step back. Your purpose, your why. What is your true purpose? Why do you want to be the person you be? And again, this could change. This is malleable over the next 3-5 years, but a rough North Star is a pretty bloody good way to start. The best version of you, 3 to 5 years away from us. And then we reverse engineer back. And this is a big thing that I do every single day in the 100 Day Heroes program. We reverse engineer back and we work out how we're going to get there. And we do it from a sustainable manner. Nothing worse than weight loss challenges or 12-week challenges and this. It doesn't get to the root why. It doesn't go inward. You can't be intuitively going inward on the daily if you're trying to force an outcome. Forcing an outcome is great sometimes. Last quarter of a game of football, last kilometre of a time trial or a race, when you're feeling okay and you just got to really go to the well and dig deep and expend everything and vomit on your toes and just bleed. It's awesome. There's a time and a place. But on the daily, especially as we get older, it's not sustainable, it's not healthy, and it lets out a shitload of hormones that aren't good for you, neurotransmitters that aren't that good for you, and it's going to eventually force you to stop. So if you've had 5 or 6 goes at losing weight, 5 or 6 goes at doing something, and evidently always come to a full stop and not succeeded, you're not a failure. You're not lazy. You're none of these things. It's just that you're going back to old ways and old things that are creeping up inside of you subconsciously, no doubt. How do we stop that? Reverse engineer back with a plan from me and anyone else or whatever. This is what I do for a living. And then we detach from all emotion, detach from all anxiety, and really, I don't want to say become a robotic, but become robotic with the system. And the system is what I'm going to get to in a minute, but really become robotic with that. Detach from emotion. You wake up at 4:30 a.m., 4:50 a.m., and you're feeling a little bit tired and you think about how crap you're feeling. Detach from that. You think everyone's looking at you or everyone's talking about you. Detach from that. You're a bit anxious at work. Detach from that. You got guilt, shame, different unserving emotions. Is that a word? Detach from that. Walk alongside that and detach from that rubbish because it's not serving you. It never served you. Hasn't served you for the last few decades and not going to serve you in the future. And it is enabling you to fail time and time again and to not get where you want to be. So your addiction to these feelings is enabling you to continually come up short in the game of happiness and the game of health, wealth, and general the success you want, really. And I don't judge success by financial stuff or any of that stuff, or by anything other than happiness and living the best possible life you can live. Your idea, not mine. Comes back to your system and your process next. The system and the process. How can we set a system up that we just can't fail? And again, my system's going to be different to your system, and depends on where I'm at in life. But it's got to be, and this is what I help people, this is big every single day, because it's not about trying to get there fast. It's about low barriers to entry. I speak often about people that we have through the 100-Day Hero program and other things, but this one, namely the 100-Day Heroes, where people literally think they can't believe the success and the clarity of mind and the weight loss and the energy and the vitality. They can't believe all from doing this little amount. But that's the point. If I really enable the barrier to entry to be low and the sustainability level to be very accessible and very high, then everything just flows. And it becomes momentum. And I've got a saying, an old saying, that like, it's about snowflakes turn into snowballs. You don't want a bloody avalanche, because the avalanche will just smash you. It'll be good at the time. Oh, this is crazy fun. And then it'll smash you. Whereas snowflakes, day by day, build up into big snowballs. And that's where the success is. And that's where the fun is. Snowballs are fun. Avalanches, not so much. And the time that something like we do 100-Day Heroes, and the time that allows people to get back in their life with their kids and family and energy and productivity and success at work, it all comes back to the system and the process. So you've got to come back to it and know that it's progress over perfection. You're never going to be able to get it right 100% of the time. You'll have many days where you fall off the system wagon. So there's the difference. If we'd normally throw the baby out with the bathwater and we'd normally just go off track for a week, we get back on the system the next day or the day after. And we don't attach any guilt or shame or self-loathing to that, and we just move on. Let's not complicate the uncomplicated. It's really important stuff, isn't it? There's no need for motivation or decision making. That's another one. I really try to bring that away from you. I really try to limit decision making, so we can really eliminate decision fatigue and motivation. Because I think you'll find in a system that's foolproof, motivation is fickle. And then what you'll do is you'll use motivation every now and then when you want to get a bit more of an extra kick, or something in an exercise set, or a job that you're doing at work, and everything just, it's awesome, it's flowing because you're so clear. The motivations, that's when it's really amazing. But when you start to rely on motivation for daily stuff, whether it's your fitness, well-being, whatever, it becomes another cross to bear. And then if you can't gather the motivation, then you look at yourself and you use these words like lazy and other stuff, and I'm not as fit as I used to be, not as strong as I used to be. Why aren't I progressing the same as Jonesy down the road? If you're doing that, you need to stop, and we need to come back to a system, your system, whatever, detach from motivation, emotion, and limit decision fatigue. My whole job is making your life easy. My whole job is enabling you to not fail. We set the tools in place so you don't fail. It's pretty amazing stuff, and I say it so readily, and I say it so often now these days, especially with the 100-Day Heroes every day, but in other speeches and stuff I do, and it's so bloody important that we put the system over emotion, because our whole life, this is your process by the way, our whole life is always usually the other. For 90% of the population, I've found. If you're a big one to react and be emotive, and on this, believe me, I've got a lot of anecdotal as well as scientific stuff here. If you're very competitive, but you want to be the best you can be, you want to really, you've always got nose to the grindstone. Sometimes it's better to take a breath, step out, trust the system. Don't attach any good, bad. Don't be too high. Don't be too low. Do not force, just flow. That rhymes. I didn't ever mean that. Don't be too high, don't be too low. Do not force, just flow. That's another t-shirt above the shoulders, I reckon. Really important stuff, that. So if you're sitting here listening to this going, well, yeah, you've ticked me off in a nutshell. I've had another thing that I've always reminded people that just enjoy every minute, because it is a bloody privilege. And if you find yourself detesting or loathing something that's in your system, whether it's exercise or something else, whether it's something about work or anything, it's really important that you remember it's a bit of deep breathing, gratitude. I know it's a very, very, very used word these days, and it's a very popular word in subcultures and cultures and wellness, but it is there for a reason. So I'm not here to go over and over that ad nauseum, but it's got a really good point. It's impossible. If you are truly grateful, it's absolutely impossible to be too anxious or feel some of those emotions that don't serve you if you're truly grateful. It's really important, and that comes back to a system and a process and really reviewing where you're at each day and each week. And again, it's what we do daily in the 100-Day Hero program, and I'm just so passionate about this. The way the 100-Day Hero program came about was I've coached, as I said, for 20 odd years, mostly via the Runners system, Runners app and Runners athletes in Melbourne and online, but a lot of footballers as well and netballers. So mostly marathon, football, netball. But in this time I had a lot of athletic development staff and a lot of weight loss athletes as well. Just a lot of different people going through a lot of stuff. And I found that I was trying to talk about this system, not just with those legends, but also with big corporate groups and even different media stuff I was doing. And I could never land it. I could never make it stick. I was saying, well, I've just had a 40-minute chat. I've just had a 20-minute chat. I've just had another 50 minutes on the phone. How can I possibly change 25 years of neurochemistry for that individual in one day or one phone call? So we started to work on and develop the 100-Day Heroes, and to say it's been a success it would be the biggest understatement of my life. It is the greatest professional thing, and I believe it'll be the greatest thing I ever do in life as far as professional or from a changing people's lives legacy thing. I'm so passionate about it, and I can't wait to get stuck into the next 100 days, because it changes people's lives of all different ages, and it changes people's families' lives, professional lives, and just hopefully, and this is my big goal when I started this, it changes the next generation and the generations to come. Because we don't have to do what we've always done. So I'm pretty passionate about it, as you can see. And the best thing about it, it's for everyone. The success of people dropping 20, 30 kilos in 100 days, that's a great byproduct. The most important stuff is the people running and stuff, great. They never run before, they can move better. But the most important stuff is the mental health benefits, the clarity of mind, the playing with the kids, grandkids they never could do, the walking and the satisfaction and the sense of achievement and accomplishment from doing things that you never thought you'd ever do again, just from doing simple things every day, and you have truckload more time left. These are all the stuff that comes back to the system, and the system is all about what you detail and stick to. But you need to detach from emotion. You need to regulate. You need to not react. And again, you're going to have slip-ups. You don't reckon I've practiced this kind of stuff for a long time. You don't reckon I have many slip-ups with reacting. We're all human, but we need to appreciate and meet ourselves where we are right now. What makes up your neurochemistry, what makes up your physiology, your biomechanics, your history, your ancestry, your genetics. Be kind to yourself. And if you're not exactly where you want to be, let's reverse engineer and change a few things. But flow, not force. Let's not rush the outcome. Let's love the process, love the journey. And believe me, I've seen it thousands of times. The success will follow and happiness will follow. Little anecdote there from me, isn't it? Really important, that listen. I hope in some small way you might listen to that. So I know that there's people that listen to my stuff and then they might do a runner session, for example, and 10 years later hear a totally different thing and just text me or email me thanking me for what I've said in there. But you might not hear it until you need to hear it. You might pick up a few things and say, hey, he's right there, I should do that better. And then maybe something I just said in 3 months, 6 months might hit home. So I really hope that hits home in some way. And if you're not, look, if you're exactly where you want to be in life, that's fantastic. But I do help a lot of people that are optimizing as well. They just want to, they know they could be a tiny bit better. But if you're not where you want to be, and you just want to be a little bit happier and freer and lighter above the shoulders and think a bit clearer and just be happier for the next decades to come, have a think about some of the stuff I just said. Bit different today. Look forward to reconvening over the next few episodes on Rise Up with Rick. We've got a big few months ahead, which I can't wait to launch into. Look, email in and let us know some of the guests you might want to hear. I've got a fair few good ones lined up. A few. I love the long form 60, 90 minutes, really delving into somebody's life, because I do believe it connects you, the listener, with them. I believe it really creates this energy and connection around the world. Apart from learning a truckload of stuff off some pretty amazing people, just hearing their story and lessons, that's what it's all about. And that's what Rise Up with Rick is always about. Back in 2018, the podcast was called Runners Radio, some amazing guests there. And now Rise Up with Rick, I'm just pumped and so passionate about it. Thank you, all the listeners and viewers. I really do appreciate you. I know I really appreciate all the 5-star reviews and all that kind of stuff and comments. It's a big passion of mine. I'm really, really, really focused with the team behind me of growing this over the next year or two, and we definitely will. I've got the time and inclination now, and I'm just really passionate about making a big difference via this forum as well. I really know that I've helped you. Hopefully, helped you in a little bit. If you listen to some of that stuff and it kicks home, then I know that it will help. You've done something today that's going to make you bloody so good tomorrow. It is an absolute privilege to chat to you, and it's the absolute best day to be alive. Love to you all.